Hello and welcome back everybody to the channel. Join me in today's review of a new BYD Seal 5 DMI plug-in hybrid. Before we go any further in this review, special thanks to Harmony Auto BYD dealership here in Zagreb for making this video possible. I will put all their info in the description below. Welcome back everybody. Like I said earlier, in today's review we have the new BYD Seal 5 DMI plug-in hybrid, a small saloon powered by a 1.5 liter petrol engine, automatic transmission and also electric power. Total power output is around 150 kilowatts, and this particular model is a higher trim model design. There are some luxury details with the design model over the standard comfort one. 360-degree camera, a little bit upgraded premium surround system and so on. But first thing first, let's talk a little bit about this exterior design. We'll check the exterior, interior, of course the practicality, and at the very end go for a short test drive. As you can see, this is a classic BYD model from the front. Even though this is a part of a Seal family, we have different design for the daytime running lights. If you remember with the Seal model, the standard Seal or the CU, we have that C shape. In here we have a little bit different design, but still LED projector lens. If we go a little bit lower on a bumper, there are some contrasting gloss black details with front parking sensors, and as you can see above the license plate there is a front camera for that 360 degree. In the center, large BYD logo. And now if you go and take a look on a passenger side profile, classic small sedan or saloon dimensions and proportions. With this model we have two-tone in design, some type of gloss black intersections and silver details with the alloys, 17-inch in diameter, which indicates the right quality. And of course when you need to change the tires, maybe from the winter to summer, this will be relatively cheap to change. Also more cameras below the side mirrors, keyless go system of course, and the folding side mirrors with a blind spot monitoring system. With the design model upgraded is the, of course, panoramic roof, gloss black B-pillars, and nice touch, especially with the practicality, is that you have a little bit opening here on this C-pillar, so the C-pillar itself is not too wide. As you can see here on a passenger side, there is a charging port, and in the boot there are cables. This particular model is capable of around 100 kilometers for a purely EV range, which is great. Overall range is around 1000 kilometers. And now we come here to a rear end design and details. Like I said, in the front end, similar design approach, LEDs like we saw with the standard Seal model, but there are some key differences. DMI detail on a driver's side, BYD Seal 5 it says on a passenger one, and the boot opening is a little bit higher on the door. Above the license plate there is a rear camera with a rear parking sensors. Overall, let me know in the comment section what you think about this exterior design of a new BYD Seal 5 DMI. What is your favorite exterior detail or actually a part of it, and would you choose this maybe model, plug-in hybrid one, over the standard fully electric Seal model, or would you even go maybe for the DMI Seal U plug-in hybrid SUV that offers maybe a little bit more of that space? So welcome now from a rear seat of this plug-in hybrid BYD Seal 5 DMI. This is my knee room and my foot room. Also, if I sit dead straight, I'm barely touching the roof. The roof itself, as you can see, is finished with some type of light gray fabric, which is great because you have that roomy effect. And also we have this, it's not a full panoramic glass roof, but at least on these front seats. Now we need to talk a little bit more about the seats, because seats are very comfortable. Also there are some practical details behind the driver's seat and also behind the passenger one. You can put your paper, tablets, something like that. Couple of air vents here in the back with two USB-C charging ports and a little bit of extra storage on this center tunnel. Speaking about the center tunnel, you can see over here, I don't think there will be any issues actually to put even the third passenger here in the back, because the center tunnel is not very high, it's actually very low. But for now, let's go and focus on a passenger front seat. And now I'm here at the passenger front seat. In front of me, as you can see, A little bit less than 13 inch, I think 12.6 or 12.8 inch in diameter, if I remember correctly. Center infotainment system, more on that a little bit later when we go and sit on a driver's seat. Let's talk a little bit about design and materials. I know design is something subjective, but I'm a big fan overall in general actually of the BYD's interior, because there are some nice details, very soft materials even here on this upper section. This center part is some type of imitation of aluminum or some other metals. It kind of looks really nice, especially with this effect. Below that, some softer materials, and again that some type of light green stitching. Air vents on a far left with a couple of air vents here in the center. Speaking about this center console, you can charge your phone wirelessly here, I think around 15 watts. This is a crystal gear selector, something that we saw also with the previous BYD's models. I'm a big fan of this particular design. Of course, there are some physical shortcuts, which is always useful, especially for some modes and so on. Behind that, two cup holders and the center armrest. It reveals a little bit of extra storage, and below this center tunnel there is huge amount of storage with a 12-volt socket and so on. So I think overall usability of this front row is on a very high level. Especially there are some two LED lights, vanity mirrors, and as you can see now, I opened this glass roof and it's really nice, especially when we have sunny, but of course winter, but with the sun outside. But for now, let's go and check the driver seat. And now, welcome from a driver's seat of this new BYD model. Let's talk a little bit about this steering wheel. First thing first, of course, because if you remember from my previous BYD's videos, this is a classic or standard, a little bit sporty in design BYD steering wheel, 3-spoke with a flat bottom, and still, even though this is a high-tech plug-in hybrid vehicle, the buttons on the steering wheel are still physical, so thumbs up for the BYDs. Also, there are some normal stocks and so on. All the controls on a left are for the cruise control, and on a right for the media and so on. Behind the steering wheel there is a digital dials, very nice graphics, sharp. I like that sometimes with the screens there are some darker graphics here. I don't know, because it's a sun outside and it's a daylight, but you have that light gray, maybe even white-ish graphics. With this particular model, you get all the safety systems in it, of course, traffic sign recognition system, blind spot monitoring system, all the cameras, all the features. Of course, you will feel very safe. We can see now the battery is around 99%, and the overall estimated range about 874 kilometers. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the center infotainment system. First thing first, I have to say with the center infotainment system that I don't think that this particular screen with this particular model comes with that folding operation as we saw with the most of the BYDs in my recent videos. Normally there is a button or actually feature here on a touchscreen, and there is a dedicated button on a steering wheel. I don't see that over here, but it doesn't matter. Let me know in the comment section if I'm wrong. But overall, let's talk a little bit about the center infotainment system. Some useful shortcuts here in the front. This is your home screen. If you need to change the climate control and so on, you press it, and it's relatively easy to operate because the system itself is responsive and very quick to react. You can split screens. You can see now, you can maybe here check the navigation, and on the second part some other stuff, but for now let's close this. We'll check the navigation. Here we are. This is a cool graphic of this very nice building over here. This is a business building here in Zagreb center, as you can see where we are. Now let's go and check the all features: Spotify, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. There aren't tons of these apps, which is great. Now there is a cool detail. It says photo of a vehicle. As we saw earlier, we have quite a lot of cameras with this particular model. This is a bird's eye view and some interesting details: front camera, rear, left, right, and there is a front but ultra wide, rear ultra wide, and left and right. Very cool to see that. We will check at the very end, maybe in a minute or two max, how easy is actually to park this vehicle and the cameras in general in action, of course. But before we go for a short test drive, let me know in the comment section what you think about this interior design of a new BYD Seal 5 DMI. What is your favorite part and how do you like the interior in general? Now I'll put the lights on before we go for a test drive, and I will put the hazard lights. Outside is very cold, actually it's 5 degrees, so I'll be pretty quick. Now we can see dynamic LED rear turn signals, and of course LEDs in the back. I have to say, very cool design, and I'm a big fan of this animation. LEDs on a side mirrors, and now we can see in the front daytime running lights, new design, different approach than from the standard Seal or the Seal U, and the projector LEDs. So welcome now from a short test drive of this new BYD model. I did some test kilometers from a dealership here to a parking lot. Before we go for a test drive, I need to tell you my initial thoughts. I will show you some parking maneuvers and of course how it looks on the center infotainment system with all those cameras. And then we'll go for a short test drive. First, we need to talk a little bit about this seating position. Even though this is a standard small saloon or sedan vehicle, you sit relatively high, or actually you can easily adjust your seats. The one thing I forgot to mention when we checked the interior, that with this upgraded design model, you have fully electrically operated the passenger front seat and also the driver one. Now the seat itself, for me at least, I'm about 184 centimeters, 79 kilograms, are perfectly fine. And even if you're a little bit larger than me, I think there will be no issues. The side support is also very good, at least for this short period of driving. Some useful things worth mentioning with the driving: the center armrest, very wide and very soft. The side mirrors are also very big, especially for a small vehicle. And as we saw earlier, we have this blind spot monitoring system, which is very useful. The steering wheel, like with the most BYD's models, is very light to operate, especially in the urban city environment, but it's also cool to look at and to grab it, because it's a sporty design with a flat bottom 3-spoke steering wheel. Now you can see in front of me the overall, this model is a little bit less than 2000 kilometers. Overall fuel consumption is about 2.5 liters. Of course, this is a test vehicle, demo vehicle. It mainly drives in EV mode, but overall numbers are just insane. Speaking about EV modes and hybrid electric modes, as you can see maybe now on a digital dice, we are now in the hybrid electric vehicle mode, which of course combines battery and the petrol engine, and we are in the normal. Here there is a button you can change from the EV to HEV, and it says really nicely here. And over here where it says mode, we can go from a eco, snowfield, sport, and so on. Now I'll put it, of course, in the normal mode. Probably in 95% of time you will definitely use that normal mode. Now let's check the parking procedure. I will just show you here, maybe a little bit forward and now in the backwards. Bird eye view camera, as we saw earlier, and the rear camera in action. Very wide, and I have to say nice graphic, especially because we have nice weather today here in Zagreb. Some green details, yellow and red one. You will see now one cool detail as I approach here to this gravel part, or actually grass. Maybe now you can see 105 centimeters, 10, and so on. This is nice and interesting detail. It measures in the centimeters how you are parking. Now if I go to press it in the drive, you will see this front camera. Overall very useful system, and like I said earlier, this is not a very big vehicle. It's a small sedan or saloon. You have great tech, sensors, cameras, wide side mirrors, and of course this everything is on this center infotainment system, so it's very useful. Now let's go for a short test drive, and I will tell you my probably best detail with this BYD Seal 5 DMI plug-in hybrid model. One detail, as you can maybe now hear and see, is like with the most BYD's models, the turn signal stock is very, very light, and you have that some type of rubbery feel, very nice and premium to operate it. Now we will go here on a little bit faster piece of road, or actually wider road. And the one detail we need to discuss, like with the most hybrid, plug-in hybrids, and of course EVs in general, there is a concern worth mentioning with two things: suspension and of course the brake pedal feel. I have to say, I don't know how sensitive is the brake pedal feel set on this particular model, but overall feel when you're driving this model is exactly the same as you would drive normal standard classic petrol powered model, or maybe even diesel one. You won't feel any difference. Sometimes with the EVs or actually plug-in hybrid models, you can sense that this brake pedal feel a little bit grabby at first, and you have that artificial feeling when you are pressing the brake pedal. But the second thing we need to discuss is the suspension and the comfort level in general. So I did maybe 3 or 4 kilometers with this model now, which is not huge amount of kilometers, of course, but the suspension is absolutely phenomenal. It's not too soft, it's not too firm, but overall robustness as you are driving, at least from where I'm sitting, is on a very, very high level. We have some pretty rough roads here in Zagreb. Of course, it's a classic large city, so it has quite a lot of potholes and something like that, but the overall suspension level is very, very robust. From where I'm sitting, at least. So I would always recommend, of course, whoever plans to buy this particular model or any other model for that, always go ahead, test it on your own. At least go for a dealership, make a test drive for maybe 1 hour or even longer if you can. Some dealerships and manufacturers offer you a test drives over the weekends, so it's even better that. But overall, at least go ahead and test it on your own. But from where I'm sitting here in this environment, I'm a big fan of the suspension in general. Not too soft and not too firm. And as we saw earlier, probably there is a benefit with this, of course, 17-inch wheels and tires, of course, because you have quite a lot of that meat on the tires. So it's very soft, and it's, of course, good for your fuel consumption and for the changing when you need to change, let's say, from the for the new tires, or you need to change for the season, summer. And as I'm heading back to a Harmony Auto BYD dealership here in Zagreb, I need to tell you my conclusion overall with this particular model. I'm hugely impressed, because this is a small plug-in hybrid model. You have great range, and with this, especially with this design trim model, all the luxury details and of course safety details. Big thanks to Harmony Auto for making this video possible. This is their test or demo vehicle, and big thanks to all of you watching this video, and wish you all a very nice day.